do you think about the hookup culture?
The hookup culture sucks, especially in Miami. I feel like if you're a girl in Miami and you're hooking up with a guy, eventually like someone's gonna catch feelings or...
It's not someone, it's the woman, right? Because women date up, meaning if they've initiated a hookup, they've already, from the beginning, did it with a person who they would consider or accept a relationship. Because if you're a guy who they don't seem valuable and up to their level, they will not even look in your way, right? They will not look in your direction. So it's always the woman catching feelings. The reason why men don't catch feelings for a hookup is because if you're a woman who is ready to spread her legs and have bedroom fun before securing the relationship, that just tells the guys that you've done it before and probably a lot of times. So why would they consider having something serious with a woman who is for the streets, has had multiple partners in the bedroom, and it carries a lot of risk to have a serious relationship? Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Also, welcome back to the few yet beautiful woman. Let's get started right where we left off.
Eventually, like, someone's gonna catch feelings for someone else, and it just, like, never works out. I feel like people have too many options here. Everyone's just...
Correction. By people, she means women. Women have too much options, not men. The only options men have in terms of dating are the ones women give them. In a lot of the ways through hookup, right? I mean, you could say that men have a lot of options. First off, that's not men, that's the top maybe 20% of guys who have a lot of options because women just don't look in the direction of the other men, right? And they have a lot of options just because women nowadays are easy and accessible just by inviting them over, you know, for a McDonald's meal or something like that, you know?
Everyone. I feel super used. I'm like really unhappy every time I hook up with someone and it goes absolutely nowhere. And then I just wake up the next day and it sucks. And
yeah, guys, so she doesn't like it. She feels used. You know, she's not going anywhere with dating. And my first question is, well, why don't you try a different approach? Maybe stop hooking up, right? I mean, if you ask most of the people who are still married, how did they meet? I bet that close to none of them started by hooking up. Hooking up is not the way you build a family. And these women, guys, they are so blinded by the attention and by the validation that they just see no other way to get a relationship than through hookup. They expect to spread their legs on the first date for Chad and for him to think, oh my, now this is a woman I want to marry, a woman who has done the same with 40 guys.
Why you should date to marry, coming from an ex-liberal choice feminist. It saddens me to see that we live in a society so smothered by hookup culture and texting being the biggest indication that someone's interested in you. And as a woman, I'm confident that at some point you were sold this idea that this lifestyle of constantly hooking up and promiscuity is empowering. But if it's so empowering, why do you always feel so alone? Why are you constantly being mistreated? Why do you put so much effort into your appearance just to not be satisfied when a guy only compliments you for your looks? Here's a really obvious answer. Hookup culture doesn't care if you're smart, compassionate, admirable. Doesn't care if you donate to charity or take care of loved ones. The entire...
Yeah, exactly, gentlemen. And not only hookup culture, but also dating apps. This is why I say that dating apps are trash, and you're never going to find the love of your life there. This is why any woman, any ages, from 20 to 40, is a huge red flag on a dating app. What are you doing there? These apps, they don't care about personality, they don't care about what you've done in your life. It's an app where you see pictures, like in a video game, browsing through different characters, and you just choose the one that, you know, you find the best looking. And we already know that women, they only date up, right? They only try to date the top percentage of men. It's, look, if you're not the top percentage of guys, you can have an absolutely beautiful life in order. You can have a lot of things going on for you. If you're not that top 20%, you're gonna find that the dating experience is horrible, right? And if you are a top percentage of guys, the only thing you can get in dating apps is hookups, nothing more. woman will eventually want to have something serious with you, but if you are a man who respects himself, you'd never date a woman like these, right? So hookup culture with dating apps are just trash. Any woman that's been through hookup culture or that is on dating apps is an immediate no, right from the get-go.
Purpose is to empower you only through your appearance. And something that shallow is not going to make you feel good long term. And I know you feel like this because I used to feel like this. Now let me just share a quick story to explain. So there's this guy that I'm really close with now, and early on when he was like sending me a list of compliments, I think it was that I was really intelligent, smarter than I give myself credit for, extremely compassionate and funny. Talking to him on the phone for 2 hours feels like 10 minutes because just time goes by so quick talking to me and blah, blah, blah. I was upset. I was like, why didn't he call me pretty? Like, I'm not even lying. That was the first thing that came to my head. Because I was interested in this guy, and I'm like, if he doesn't think I'm pretty, then I'm done. Like, I'm done here. He's not interested in me. Okay, like, fast forward to today, he's called me pretty several times, so that, you know, is not an issue. But early on, he was like, would you rather somebody tell you that you're really smart or that you're pretty? I was like, interesting question, sir. Back then, old me would have totally preferred to be called pretty, hot, whatever. Because I thought that that's the way that men show interest in you, is just by calling you that. All of this ties back into hookup culture and what they try to sell you and how it just messes with your mind. And so all this culture provides to you is this endless cycle of trying to make yourself as physically appealing to as many people as possible, talking to them like ADHD, swiping, texting one to the next, multiple at the same time, and then you just feel depleted and you just feel like you gain nothing from that and you don't feel fulfilled. These compliments wear off because they're shallow, and you want to be told other things about yourself, that you have a great sense of humor, that you're really smart, you're personable, and you light up the room, that your future husband's parents would absolutely adore you. But the solution is to not blame men, stop being lazy, and disengage in hookup culture.
Yeah, guys, we have another case of Schrodinger's feminism where, you know, depending on the situation, we are empowered or the victim, right? I mean, feminism blames the culture for being, you know, living in the patriarchy. They think that the patriarchy still exists and it's embedded in our culture, yet at the same time, they know that the culture is pushing for hookup culture. So how can it happen, right? At the same time, they worship feminism, and at the same time they blame the current situation for being one that approves of hookup culture and that diminishes women's value. So which one is it? You know, in reality, it's feminism that pushed all of those things. It's feminism, that pushed all the laws regarding not having babies. It's feminism that pushed hookup culture, that sold the idea that it's empowering and brave and liberating to have a high body count. Feminism, as opposed to traditionalism, is, you know, the narrative, the thinking that pushed all of those ideas that women are finding to be an absolute horror. And I'll mention it again, guys. I've said it in a previous video, but if women were to look at these videos, manosphere content, they would unironically be better off in life, even though this content is categorized as misogynistic and YouTube doesn't like it. Media, you know, the whole internet, the whole world doesn't approve of this content other than, you know, a few select men. This content would unironically help these women, because these women, they lack direction, they lack discipline, they lack knowledge of basic rules in terms of dating, they lack femininity, you know, they lack paternal figures in most of the cases.
They were doing what our ex-relationship and situationships did that we thought were normal, that clearly are not normal. Yeah. Him kissing his ex-girlfriend right in front of me. Him messaging the girl that he was fucking before he met me and telling me I'm being delusional and I'm overthinking while we were dating. So it was our fault. Leaving me at a party for her and hiding it. But yeah. Him blocking me from seeing his stories while we were perfectly fine, while messaging me every day, how are you, my love? But no, blocked me. Very sus behavior. him being sad for 6 months. When every day I would ask him, like, are you good? Are you happy? But not lying to me for 6 months, and then taking me to his home country to visit his family just to bring me back here and breaking up with me the next day. I can't even get over that one. Hey, him not telling me he was actually in a relationship, but still kissed me. I found out about the girlfriend afterwards because somebody told me. But no.
Alright, you see the idea of this video, gentlemen? How many days did it take you to figure out that that person didn't care about you, you know? This is the type of boyfriends that they will be choosing, right? Nobody forced them to be in this relationship, at least to my knowledge. I mean, maybe someone could have put a gun to their heads and told them, you're gonna date this person or I'm gonna unalive you. But as far as I know, nobody forced them. It's a decision that they decided to make. And then, guys, it's these same women that will blame all men. Where have all the good men gone? You know, there are no good men left in the dating pool, right? It's these women that will dismiss 80% of men, go for that top percentage of guys, as we've already established. They will have a relationship or situationship with a person who clearly doesn't care about them in the slightest and dismiss all the red flags to then blame all of men, right? And guys, let me tell you, this will never happen if these women had a good paternal figure. Now, I'm not blaming the father, right? Maybe he doesn't know about this, but in the past, when, you know, kids, daughters used to have strong fathers that would lead by example, they had traditional mothers, you know, who could teach them a little something about men and dating. These things didn't happen, man. It's the last 1 or 2 generations that are, you know, just absolutely terrible at dating. They have no idea. And honestly, this is a win for the Chads, right? It's never been easier to sleep with women. It's never been easier to be with a lot of women. And, you know, providing so much less than you used to before. Let's continue.
He was like, but I miss you, I miss us. No, it was an entire relationship. Me throwing him a surprise birthday party, and afterwards he left to go someone else. But then after that, he came back to my room and cuddled with me. So normal, so normal. Us dating for a year and a half, and him deleting messages with other girls. Okay, bye.
Yeah, so the video ends right here when she gets a text. And if it were me, guys, if I were a betting man, she got a text from Chad, and she's just gonna stop this video to go get back with him. You know, guys. For these videos, if any man with self-respect watches this, it's an immediate no. I don't care about your life. I don't care what else have you done. If I hear this, it's an immediate no, because it shows that you lack self-respect. First off, you lack a pair bonding ability and traditionalism to, in the first order, be in a situationship. And then second off, you have absolutely no self-respect for your time, for your emotions, for your future partner, right? I mean, these women date guys like you have an eraser for the past, right? They think that the past doesn't matter, but the past is an indication of your future. And the way that you've shown to all of us that you don't respect your time at all, in order to be going with Chad, to be going with someone who cares so little about you, well, sorry, but you're not entitled anymore to a man with self-respect.
Bye!
You know what sucks? Being someone's like learning tool or their like moment of self-reflection. Like being with you and like everything that happened with you is what like taught them or that made them realize that they have like all these issues and like all this baggage, and like they told you that they wanted one thing and they're like, you know what, now I've realized that like I have to work through all this stuff. And like obviously you don't want to be with someone who has baggage or has issues that they need to work through in like any sort of way, but it sucks to be the person to show them that they have those issues, because like essentially they just like used you emotionally. This is like kind of embarrassing to post, but I feel like being...
It is embarrassing. But here's the thing, guys. It's not about improving yourself. We all have to improve ourselves. Well, maybe not you. Maybe you are perfect. But in general, people, you know, they have to improve themselves at all time. The reason why these men are not with you is not because they have to work on something or improve themselves. It's just because they don't want to, right? Probably because you have a large number of body counts. Make all the excuses that you want and believe in all the excuses, but when a man sees a woman who is worth it, he will want to be with her. And all those men, you're just telling on yourself right now that you're not dating material, because all those men are avoiding you. Yes, they are chads, they never cared about you in the first place, but again, your history of dating just chads and men who are emotionally unavailable speaks really bad about yourself.
Being vulnerable makes you strong, and I just also think this probably happens to a bunch of other girls out there, so I just want to let you know that you're not alone. And I know in like literally a week to 2 weeks I'll forget all about this, but right now it sucks.
And the video ends right here, guys, and we'll end on a couple of thoughts. Let's talk a little, let's consider the things that you have to do as a man to make it, to have a strike, an option at the dating game, right? And the things are, first off, let's start from the physical ones. You have to have good genes in terms of hair or jawline, body composure, right? Then you have to be tall, a certain amount of tall, right? Women usually, for the most part, they wouldn't date someone who is smaller than them. Then, in terms of personality, again, you have to have everything together, which usually doesn't happen with younger guys, not because they suck or anything, just they didn't have the time to work on themselves and build up, So as a man, a woman will expect you to be decisive, to know what you're doing, to have your game, to know your game, I mean. You just have to be experienced, wise in certain ways. You have to be financially stable. And all of those things, they just require time, right? Most younger guys don't have them, right? Your average guy at 20 years old, who's 20 years old, who just got his driving license, is not, these women don't see them at their level, and they would not consider dating him, right? And then you have to be you get the picture, you have to be this man who is ready to fight the fight, who can control them, who, he understands women, which also takes time, who is on top of his game. In other words, the top percentage of men, right? And what you get, because women also, tend to date up, what you get is always someone beneath your level, which is not a problem. Men, women have always dated this way. But nowadays, what you get in most of the cases is these women, guys, that we saw on the video, right? If you are this man who has already made it in life, you're financially stable, you've gone to the gym for years at a time, you've put all this effort, all these resources, all this time into building yourself, and what you get, if you are lucky, a woman who has had multiple relationships with unavailable men, a woman who has already lost her youth, a woman who has trashed her body, and people have used her body like a napkin, and they've thrown away, and has already a lot of trauma because she's been with multiple chats who didn't care about her. That's what you get in most of the cases, right? Of course, you don't have to choose to be with these women, but this is your options, this is your dating pool. So you put all this effort, and what you get is a woman that put zero effort into building herself to be a good wife, mother, girlfriend, partner, whatever. And not only that, but you also get a woman who has literally put effort in the opposite. She's put effort into losing her pair bonding ability, losing and not working on all the skills that are necessary, having more trauma, more baggage, being more annoying, and more nagging. This is what you get, right? And it just begs the question for a lot of men, why should I even be dating? A lot of men have decided to just have hookups just for recreational purposes. A lot of men have straight up given up on dating. I'm talking about MTO. A lot of men, they're not part of MTO, but they're just waiting on a person who is not half bad to show, right? They're waiting for a woman who doesn't have more than a double-digit body count, right? And they just never find it. You know what I mean? But I think that what you can do, right, in today's dating culture is just either, wait for a normal person to cross your way, which is unlikely because the amount of men who are you know, traditional and good dating options are much more than the amount of women who are traditional and good dating options, right? Or what you have to do is just give up on dating. These are your two options. The dating pool is narrow. Men who want to find something serious cannot find it in most of the cases, because women tend to date up, and they just all those bad decisions of dating bad boys, dating men who don't care about them, and then expect of you to pick up the pieces, right? All the men before you, they have had their fun with providing minimal effort, but if you want to have something serious, you gotta have it with that woman who, you know, you gotta be the first person to ever value her, and she's going to have more standards for you than she did for all the previous chads that only had, you know, had their way with her. Yeah, well, I'll say no, right? But tell me, gentlemen, you know, what are the options that you have, or what is your solution? Have you given up on dating altogether, or are you waiting for that one person, or are you just dating for recreational purposes? Let me know down in the comments, gentlemen, and I'll be happy to see you next time. Have a good one.